From gravity-defying kicks that hit the crossbar to players whose moves shook up the rulebook, this is the journey through some of the most iconic moments that left a lasting impact on the game we love. So fasten your seatbelts as we explore how players like Antonio Brown, Hines Ward, and others left their imprint on the NFL's rulebook history. And it's not all black and white. Recently, they decided to make some changes to the rulebook. The NFL's bigwigs were huddled together brainstorming how to keep players in line, both on and off the field. And guess what? They've gone and cooked up a rule that allows them to go after the players not just for their current shenanigans, but for stuff they did way back before they were part of the NFL. Let's talk about the instigators behind these rulebook fireworks. First up, we've got Antonio Brown, that wide receiver with a penchant for making headlines. Back when he was shuffling from team to team like a dance floor dynamo, moving from the Raiders to the Patriots, he had a little secret. He was in hot water due to some serious allegations. You know, the kind of stuff that makes the whole league go, whoa. Plus, Brown didn't let his new team in on the secret when he signed with the Patriots, which was pretty sneaky. I mean, if you're joining a new team, the least you can do is be upfront about your past, because it could potentially harm their image. But lo and behold, the truth came out faster than a quarterback's bullet pass, and the Patriots said sayonara just a week after signing him. The NFL's response? They were pulling back the curtains and demanding players to spill the beans about any misadventures they've had before donning their game day uniforms. And if that one shocked you, listen to this one of the Steelers' Hines Ward, all-time receiver greats. He might not strut into the Hall of Fame in Canton, but come on, his legacy's set. Ravens fans might squabble, but there's no denying he rocked. Sure, he dazzled with touchdowns, but behind the scenes, he had a lesser-known superpower, blocking. The guy was a receiver turned wall of defense. In 2008, Ben Roethlisberger threw a screen pass to Matt Spaeth. And out of nowhere, bam! Hines Ward clobbers Frank Rivers, breaking his jaw. All clean and legal, yet it shook up the NFL rulebook. Enter the Hines Ward rule, saying no more helmet, forearm, or shoulder hits to the neck area. Replay show Ward's hit was shoulder level, but rules be rules. That's the story of a receiver who made his name stick, even in rule changes. Fast forward to 2008, and guess what? The NFL big shots introduced the Phil Dawson rule. They decide these fancy moves are worth a replay review. So now, those gravity-defying bounce till you drop kicks are up for a second take, all thanks to Dawson and his wild footwork inspiring some rulebook changes. And then there's Joey Porter, the man who donned the linebacker hat from 99 to 06, and then rocked the coaching gig from 14 to 19. He was like a force of nature on the field, the kind of linebacker opponents hoped to dodge. Fans couldn't get enough of his gritty, old-school style that brought back echoes of legendary Steelers like Lambert and Ham. But the rule change he's linked to happened after he hung up his cleats. Fast forward to 2015, Steelers locked horns with the Bengals in the playoffs, the game's getting tight when suddenly, bam! Vontez Burfict smacks Antonio Brown square in the noggin, costing the Bengals a crucial 15-yard penalty, and then chaos erupted. The Bengals defense goes toe-to-toe with Coach Porter. Now imagine this, Marcus Gilberry starts it with a chest bump, followed by Vontez Burfict tugging at Porter's jacket. Then Adam Pac-Man Jones throws a punch at Porter, and the refs drop the flag again. Cincinnati gives the Steelers 15 free yards, and what's even wilder, Adam Jones later deletes his fiery Twitter post. But wait, it doesn't end there. The aftermath? Cincinnati loses by a field goal in the final seconds, a deleted tweet, and a brand new NFL rule. This rule says only the head coach can hit the field with an injured player. Assistants need to stay put. The NFL slapped a name on it, the Joey Porter rule. And just like Joey, Mel also had a rule named after him. With his towering 6'3" frame and a solid 205 pounds, he turned the field into a playground of misery for rival wide receivers, shutting down their chances with a mastery few could match. His dominance prompted a rule overhaul. In response to Blount's shutdown tactics, the NFL dropped the hammer, saying no more roughhousing beyond 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. If a defender failed to heed this rule and got handsy, a yellow flag would fly for defensive pass interference. Behold the Mel Blount rule, a game changer that reshaped the passing panorama. Blount's iron grip on receivers triggered a reaction that unleashed the passing game in new ways. It was like the league decided to clear the way for those long bombs, turning the field into a canvas for quarterbacks and receivers to paint their masterpiece. There was also the Stroud rule after Morris Stroud. While his pro career didn't skyrocket, he became a field goal blocking sensation on special teams. Here's the twist. Stroud didn't rush the kicker like most players. He stationed himself by the goalpost ready to swat kicks at their peak. This unique strategy caught the NFL's attention. Cue the Stroud rule, a game-changing addition to the rulebook. It banned players from reaching above the crossbar to block kicks, preventing sky's the limit unfair plays. The rule emphasized that any such move could lead to penalties, even awarding 3 points to the other team for an obvious violation, a palpably unfair act. But that wasn't the only rule that changed the trajectory of the game. There was also one that happened because of Peyton Manning, the quarterback legend who conducted a dazzling no-huddle offense that left the NFL in awe. Yet rewind to 2009, and the league tossed in a rule twist. They pushed the ref back a whopping 12 feet from the line of scrimmage, a far cry from the previous 5 to 7 feet. The idea? Limit collisions with refs and amp up safety. Sounds smart, but here's the catch. This well-intentioned tweak played havoc with Manning's artful tempo. The extra distance meant slower ball spotting and positioning by refs. Imagine Peyton revving up his no-huddle magic, only to find his rhythm disrupted. Cue frustration. During the 2009 preseason, Manning even managed to rack up not 1 but 2 penalties in his pursuit of that signature hurry-up offense. Now, yes, the NFL had safety in mind, protecting everyone on the field, refs included. But here's the curveball. This rule shift inadvertently threw a wrench into hurry-up offenses like the Colts and the Patriots, who thrived on lightning-fast plays. Manning's precision suddenly fell out of sync, and the league's safety efforts unintentionally slowed down the sharpest minds in the game. And while we're talking about Manning, his alleged second-favorite receiver also forced a rule change. Ty Law, a cornerback extraordinaire from Law, wasn't just a master of anticipation. He also brought his A game in the physicality department. He slapped on a strict enforcement policy. Why? Blame it on Law's aggressive ways that didn't sit well with his opponents. Then there is this one in 2007 when Phil Dawson, the kicker extraordinaire, launched a couple of wild kicks that do the ultimate boogie. They hit the uprights and then do a snazzy bounce off the front crossbar. Now imagine the refs getting their heads together like a bunch of wise owls having a powwow. After a chit-chat, they gave those kicks the golden seal of approval. Good, they declare with a wink. Another sharp mind that changed things up was Roy Williams, a safety force to be reckoned with who brought bone-crunching hits to the field that left opponents wincing. But his signature move, the horse collar tackle, painted a different picture. In this technique, he'd yank the ball handler down by the back of their jersey's collar. This move was all fun and games until injuries began to pile up. Stars like Terrell Owens and Donovan McNabb found themselves on the receiving end, and suddenly the horse collar tackle wasn't as thrilling. So in 2006, the NFL had seen enough and dropped the hammer, introducing the horse collar rule. No more tugging players down by the collar. It was a wrap. Williams' signature move had become too much of a double-edged sword, posing risks to player safety that couldn't be ignored. And finally, the rule change that Brady also experienced later on. Back in the 2005 NFL season, Carson Palmer was shining like a rising star. He secured a first-round bye for the Cincinnati Bengals and had his eyes set on playoff glory. In a divisional playoff clash with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Palmer launched a touchdown pass to Chad Johnson, igniting hopes, but fate took a nasty turn. Steelers defensive tackle Kimo von Oelhoffen crashed into Palmer below the knee after the throw, snapping his ACL and MCL like twigs. The season crumbled along with the Bengals' playoff dreams. Notably, Tampa Bay's Brian Grease suffered a similar fate that year. The NFL took action. They stepped onto the field of rulemaking and made a critical call. The Carson Palmer rule emerged, guarding quarterbacks by forbidding defenders from striking them at or below the knee. Yet the story doesn't stop there. After the 2008 NFL season, when Tom Brady suffered a gut-wrenching ACL and MCL injury due to a parallel incident, the rules tightened even further. The league wasn't willing to gamble on star quarterback safety anymore. Another player capable of forcing rule changes, in my opinion, is Mahomes. Nothing has happened yet, but who knows? I mean, have you seen how he's dominating teams left, right, and center? Check it out here.